Welcome to Booze on the Rocks, where we make cocktails for everyone. My name is David Edwards, and it's great to have you here today. We're going to make a Rum Rise cocktail, and you're right, it does sound very much like a sunrise-esque cocktail, because it is. Now, the good thing about this is it's a perfect base to be able to build from with just a few ingredients, and then you can tweak it to get the flavors that you want, or make adjustments to turn it into something else. Now, we're going to start by prepping our very first ingredient, and for that I need some orange juice. But I'm going to use a little bit of fresh orange juice. So what I have here is some navel oranges, and what I'll do is I will just squeeze these directly into a measuring cup so I can more easily measure it out. And even though I'm using fresh oranges for the base of this drink, you could choose to use something store-bought, or you could choose to use something like blood oranges or whatever gives you the flavor and the color that you like. Because let's be honest, and one of the things people forget to tell you is that the cocktail is yours, so you have the ability to actually adjust this to whatever you want. And this is where, as a cocktail for everyone, I say play around with it, have fun, take something classic, make slight adjustments, come to something that you really, really like. And now, these oranges are really, really fresh, and they've got a fantastic color. Can't go wrong. So what we're going to do is build this in the glass. Now, you have a couple of options. You can either build it in a glass, or you can actually shake some of this. But for all intents and purposes, to keep yourself something very simple, very easy to work with, grab yourself a rocks glass. I'm using a 10-ounce rocks glass, and you just want to throw a little bit of ice in there. That chunk's maybe a bit big, that doesn't really matter. And we're going to start this with a little bit of coconut rum. And the type of coconut rum you use will slowly, well, it won't be slow, it'll be a total change in flavor, because not only for coconut flavor, you will get, and I just messed up when I said coconut flavor, what you'll get is a different sharpness and alcohol bite if you use something else that has a higher ABV, meaning alcohol by volume. And this is a 21%, whereas some go as high as 40%. But we're going to use a total of 1.5 ounces or 45 mils. Now, your second ingredient, of course, is the orange juice that we got. And you could actually change this by using, say, pineapple juice. And in that case, what you'd have is a Malibu Sunrise. But we need for this a total of 3 ounces or 90 milliliters. And I've got 4 ounces I see in here, so. And you'll notice that this is not as bright as some of the cocktails that you would maybe see online, and that's because I'm using actual real juice. Now, the one thing I am gonna break down and use here is some Rose's Grenadine. And you know, people will say, well, if you're using fresh juice, why aren't you using a homemade Grenadine? The reason for that is because I want to actually get the super cherry red that you would get from this Grenadine. Now, having said that, you could adjust something by using a little bit of, say, a maraschino cherry syrup or something from a cocktail cherry, and those will adjust your flavors again. You just have to remember the sugar levels will be different and you may have to stir them, but we don't need a lot of this to create the sunrise effect. We need 1/2 ounce or 15 mils and just slowly pour it on top. And that's a perfect looking Rum Rise. If you want to adjust it slightly, grab yourself a spoon, just give yourself a little bit of a mix just to spread the sweetness of the Grenadine and the pomegranate flavors out, and then give it a shot. Perfect. It's sweet, it's orange, it's coconut, it's everything you want in a nice, simple, easy drink. If you like sunrise style cocktails, take a look after the recipe card right up here.